Good morning and welcome back to my channel. It's Saturday the 1st of November 2025 and I'm going to kick off as normal with what's for the basket. We've got Taylors of Harrogate coffee bags, one box of decaf, one box of ordinary. So that's what's going in the basket on Tuesday. Okay, Slimming World question, and I find this one interesting. Some people will find it boring, but bananas. On Thursday, the 30th of October, Slimming World put up what they call the quick ones, clip. Short. And it was about bananas. Now they seem to have, I don't know whether she's a new nutritionalist or whether she's been around a while, but she's got a lovely Northern Irish accent. She was talking about why we don't mash bananas. And I get it, I totally get it, because Joe always says to me, digestion starts in the mouth. So you should chew your food. And if you mash a banana, you're cutting out that aspect of eating. So if you mash a banana, we all know it's sinned. The one thing, as she explained why we mash, count mashing bananas and things, but the one thing she didn't say is how many sins. And I think it's good to put up stuff like that to reassure people that that's what they advise us to do and that's what they recommend. But I wish they'd finish it with, if you mash a banana, it's X, Y, Z sins. In my head I'm thinking 4, but I don't know whether I'm absolutely right because I never mash a banana. But I know a lot of people would say, don't bother, don't count it, it's only a banana, I'm eating the banana anyway. But there is more to it than just eating the banana. So I just wanted to share that to say to people who are new to the plan or who want to tighten up their plans, there are reasons behind a lot of the things that Slimming World recommend. And that's the reason behind why you count a banana if you mash it. Okay, it was group icon this week, and I'm proud, I don't know the right word. I was one of the group icons in my group, along with Mo, a lady I sit alongside, and was thrilled to share it with her. I think this is the award that used to be the old Mr. and Mrs., isn't it? Are we being politically correct now? Because in a lot of groups we don't have men, which is a shame. We could do with a few more of them. We have got a guy in our group now, but you can't just give the old Mr. and Mrs. award to the only man in the group, otherwise it makes it meaningless. But yeah, it was lovely this week because I think about 7 or 8 people were nominated, and then there's a vote, and it was me and Mo. So this is a Slimming World candle, and it's coconut flavoured, or coconut scented, should I say. So thank you, group. I really do appreciate that you voted for me. I really do. Okay, Joe, what do I have on my list?
Slimming World Kitchen.
Is that the first thing?
Yeah.
Slimming World Kitchen. Now, I think most of us will be familiar. Most of us who go to group will be familiar with what is Slimming World Kitchen. And Slimming World Kitchen is like all of these other meal boxes that you can have delivered to your door, like Hello Fresh, and I think there's a Gusto box, that come with all the ingredients in the box, kept cool, for you to make your meal. Now I have to be honest with you and say, I roll my eyes at this because I don't get it. I don't get why I would need somebody to deliver a few potatoes, an onion, a pepper, whatever. And I guess that's because I am really picky about what I eat. I like to do my own shopping. I like to select my own fruit and veg. I will never eat meat that's been selected by somebody else. I'm not much of a meat eater anyway, but I know if you get a Slimming World box and if you've got beef in that box, it should be Slimming World friendly. I get that. But I still just don't get why I would want to pay those sort of prices to have food delivered to my door. Now, if I was a busy executive and I was short of time and spent an hour each way on the train in the morning and didn't have time to go to Sainsbury's or Marks or Lidl or Aldi or Asda or Morrison's or Tesco, I'll name them all, then I get having food delivered. I get having a supermarket delivery. Like I would get a delivery from Waitrose or Ocado. If you want what everybody says is the Slimming World quality of food, I'd get it from Ocado or Waitrose. But what I don't get is when folks have these boxes delivered and you can get, I think it's a box of 4 meals for 2 or 4 meals for 4. Don't quote me on that. But they have one a month or one every 6 weeks or something. And I'm like, if I had it delivered and it was 4 meals, I would have to eat it 4 consecutive nights because I only eat food when it's really fresh. And I honestly, somebody point out to me why I'm an idiot. I can't get my head around it. I can't get my head around why 4 meals in a row, once every month or 6 weeks, is going to make a difference to my plan. Now, my consultant uses these, and a couple of other ladies in my group use them. I get the convenience factor, but the convenience factor for me could be on the 1st of the month, the 7th of the month, the 17th of the month, and the 19th of the month. It wouldn't be 4 days in a row. And I cannot ever see the point of buying fresh food and freezing it. I'm a bit of an old-fashioned girl. I like my food fresh. Can you tell me, if you use these boxes, why I've got it wrong? What I'm missing out on? Why they're such a good idea? Because I might be thick. I just don't get it. If I could afford to, or desperately needed to, as a very busy executive of a company, have, 5 meals or 6 meals a week delivered, so I'm catered for, Monday to Saturday, and I'll eat out on Sunday, then I get it. But I don't get 4 meals a month. My consultant said very fairly, you get a third of your speed food. Well, I can get that any day of the week. That's the easy part about this plan. Forgive me, Cindy, if you're watching, but I don't get that. Come in on the comments if you use these boxes and tell me why they've changed your life. Tell me about the quality of them. Tell me about the special ingredients. Tell me about why it's good to have, a teaspoon of sage or whatever instead of buying a whole little bottle. And please, somebody, explain it to me in a way that I am going to get it. I'd appreciate that. Next one.
Healthy extras and lunches.
Something that came up at group this week, we were talking generally about food optimising. I won't go too much into depth about what this person or this person or this person said in my group. That's not correct. I'm just going to cover it loosely. We were talking about lunches. And let's face it, a lot of us over the years or the months have struggled with, especially I suppose if you work. I worked for 20 years, but I was in a fortunate position because we weren't allowed to eat at our desks. We had a clearly defined lunchtime, and we would go out and get something for lunch, or we'd go into the staff room and eat what we brought for lunch. I think we're much looser about how, what and when we eat these days. But a lot of people are kind of at a bit of a loss of, what do I have for lunch? If you've got to cater for your lunch 5 days a week, now I can be really repetitive. I could eat the same lunch Monday to Friday, it wouldn't bother me. Some people need more variety. Some people enjoy more variety, I get that. But we were talking about the fact that if you use your B choice for your breakfast, and let's face it, this time of year more people will probably be using it for hot porridge or whatever. But if you've used your B choice for your breakfast, then you can't make a sandwich. Well, you can make a sandwich for lunch, sin your bread, it's easy. But some people don't want to do that. But I piped in and I said, under the new practice, when we've got a choice between calcium choices, fibre choices, healthy fat choices, and we do not have to have one of each, that's official, we do not have to have one of each, we can choose to have, if it suits us, let's say, for example, 1A choice and 2B choices. Now, it's not set in stone, you can change it every day. But if on a day when you want to take a sandwich to work, You can still have Weetabix, porridge, any kind of cereals, whatever, for your breakfast I'm calling them B choices, it's a fibre choice now, isn't it? You can still have that for your breakfast and then have bread in the form of a sandwich for your lunch. And in theory, and hopefully in practice, that will make no difference to your weight losses because it's counted for. And if we're looking at a healthy extra choice being between sort of 120 and 150 sins, 120 and 150 calories, then it doesn't matter whether you're having 2 B choices of cereals and bread, or 2 A choices of milk and cheese, or 2 fat choices of, say, 25 grams of whole nut peanut butter and 8 grams of avocado. It balances itself out. And having 2 B choices should not, and I don't think will, make you fat. I don't think our bodies clearly define so much as, oh my God, she's already had her B choice today, she shouldn't be having another one. That's not how the human body works. The human body takes what it needs from what we eat and it uses it for energy. And it uses it to, mend our muscles, develop our cells, improve our blood, whatever the human body does. It's way beyond my thinking. But I think that the freedom that it will bring to us in January of actually being able to say, well, on Monday I'm going to choose to have 2 B choices. On Tuesday I'm going to have, I shouldn't call them that. On Monday I'll choose to have 2 fibre choices. On Tuesday I'll choose to have a calcium choice, a fibre choice and a healthy fat choice. On Wednesday I'm going to have 2 healthy fat choices and a B choice. You can change it every day. That's going to bring more variety into the plan for a lot of people. I know for me, probably won't change a lot because I'm used to sitting avocado and stuff like that. And I like to have milk for both A choices. But every one of us will be able to make different choices, and bringing more variety into the plan brings a little bit, probably more excitement and interest into working this plan as a lifestyle. So I actually applaud Slimming World for these changes, because I think even though I don't think sitting in group, everybody's going to put their hand up and say, wow, yes, I'm eating avocado. I do actually think, in some clever way, Slimming World have done this to shut us up. Because over the last 10 plus years, so many times I've heard people say, oh, you can't have avocado on plan. Oh, you can't have peanut butter on plan. Well, the Yarbu sucks. Now you can. So you're going to have to find something else to complain about. Because I think Slimming World have been really quite clever here. Anyway, that's just my opinion. But I do think it's going to bring more freedom and more choice to your plan, and use them. Make the most of them. And if we're going to be able to have something like 100 grams of olives in brine, you could take 50 grams of olives in brine, after they've been drained of course, chuck them on your salad and still have half an A choice with them, or a slice of bread with it, because you can halve these healthy choices. Lots of people do that, and it's always been allowed. More variety. I'm all in for it. Next one, Joe.
Prepping your weight for Christmas.
Yeah, I think at every meeting this week it will have been said we have X number of weigh-ins till Christmas. I think at my group it's probably 9, because we weigh in on the 23rd of December for the last time before Christmas. Now I was emailing with a friend in Germany, my lovely friend Eva, and she reminded me of something that, I think it was Kath of Kath Nails the Day, who is a Slimming World target member type, a saying that she used, which was like, that is so powerful. We obsess about Christmas, lots of us. I've done it myself year after year after year, up until last year when I decided it wasn't anything that special. So we obsess about food at Christmas, and we buy in all this extra stuff, and then we're all fretting, am I going to gain weight at Christmas? And oh, how much, And it's not unusual for some people to have quite large gains, and hopefully they enjoyed their Christmas, and that's why. It's not a crime. But some other people decide to stick to plan or stick closely to plan. But the saying that really grabbed me was, it's not so much about what you do between Christmas and New Year, it's what you do between New Year and Christmas. If you picture it like a clock, the little bit at the top is Christmas to New Year, the rest of the clock is New Year to Christmas. And we shouldn't spoil our Christmas by obsessing about it, because obsessing about food always caused me to overeat. Because then I'm like, oh God, I've done it wrong. Oh God, I've made a mistake. Oh, that's naughty, that's good, that's bad. Food doesn't have morals, so there's no bad food and no good food. But once I went off the rails and started thinking like that, well, I just blew the whole thing out the water. I've totally cocked it up. I might as well just keep going until New Year's Day. Well, I can't stop on New Year's Day because it's a bank holiday. What about the 2nd of January? And then I can't get back on plan. So if you're going to enjoy Christmas, and enjoying Christmas means bringing in all these foods that you love, that you consider to be off plan, own it. Make a decision beforehand that you're going to do it and own it. And do not beat yourself up afterwards. Because we choose to do those things with nobody else to blame. So there's no point in doing it and then blaming circumstances, blaming family, blaming the fact that everybody else was doing it. It's not a crime. But think seriously about what you do between New Year and Christmas. We've still got 8 or 9 weeks to go. You can prep for Christmas. You can get half a stone off or more in some circumstances and be prepared for Christmas. But enjoy it. Next one.
Okay, results and changes.
Right, my results at group this week. I had a fabulous week on plan. I had, last week, what did I do last week? Let me think about the month. Right, the month of October, 4 weigh-ins. The first one I lost 2.5 pounds. The second one I gained £1. The third weigh-in I lost £1. And this weigh-in I've maintained. But looking at the bigger picture, because everybody who watches me would know that I aim to lose £1.5 a month at this stage in my journey. So I'm at 7 stone. No, I'm not. I'm at 10 stone 7. 7 stone 10. I'm at 10 stone 7. So I'm not desperate to lose a huge amount of weight quickly. So I have this plan, and I talked about it a few months ago, of losing £1.5 a month to come into land. Excuse me. If you picture me in my jet, I'm flying across the Atlantic. I can't land at the 550 miles or whatever that I'm flying at. I've got to slow down to land at somewhere around where I want to be. So I have this plan to lose £1.5 a month. Came out of group on Tuesday, and I said to Joe, I've got to maintain. And there's still that element of me that it's not a disappointment. I've got to learn to accept gains and maintains. I know that, it's real life. But there's still that element of me that goes, did I do enough? Well, I know I did enough because my food's spot on, even though I eat quite a lot of food. My exercise and energy levels are spot on. So I know I do enough. And the first thing Joe said to me was, it's the last weigh-in of the month. What did you do over the month? So I looked back in my head at my figures, and this month I lost £2.5. And that changed my attitude completely. So I'd encourage people to look at more than this week's result. Look at what you did over the month, because if you're doing your best to do the plan in a way that suits you, and you're getting a result each month, whether it's 4 weigh-ins or 5 weigh-ins each month, that's all you need to look at. In my head, as long as I'm £1.5, preferably, last month, September, it was only £1, but that's fine. As long as I'm £1.5 lower than where I was at the start of the month. So this month, £2.5 down, not disappointed in any way. I'm not going to leave group and think, I need to eat more, I need to eat less, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to up my exercise, I need to walk further. None of that, because I'm already working this plan and living an active lifestyle. More active than I was even in my 20s. So, am I making any changes this week? Well, I am making one change, and that's my milk. Purely because we bought 8 cartons of oat milk from Aldi 10 days ago. And they were all weird, weren't they, Joe?
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was off, I don't know what was wrong with it. But when you poured it, it just looked like dirty water with bits in. It was disgusting. And of course, me, not being able to see, made a cup of coffee with it and it tasted disgusting. So we had to take them back because we thought they weren't wise to leave it on the shelves. We took them back, the guy was really nice about it, and I said, I've not come for a refund, I just want to show you what these are like. And he did give us a refund and he was grateful that we'd pointed it out. So then I wanted to make a change because I didn't want to buy any more off the shelf until I knew the bad ones had been taken off. So we went to Asda and we got some Alpro. This is the fresh Alpro, not the long life. And it's Alpro oat, no sugar. So Joe scanned it for me and he said you can have 325 mils for an A choice. That's good because my other milks have always been 300. And now that gives me a total of 650 mils for 2 A choices, which really works for me. This is quite a bit more expensive than the Aldi version, but it is really nice. And the only other change I intend to make this week is collagen. Now, I've always thought and said, I don't need that. But I'm coming to a time in my life where probably it wouldn't do me any harm. This is marine collagen. What company is it, Joe?
Applied Nutrition.
Applied Nutrition. Marine collagen is supposed to be more bioavailable than bovine or porcine collagen. I just took the advice of Joe and the lady in Holland and Barrett. This is on sale in Holland and Barrett. It's £30 a tub. Currently, buy one, get one half price. Makes a massive difference.
But then we bought some beans in jars.
So it came to £45, and then the nice lady behind the counter said, could you spend another £5? And I went, yeah. And she said, well, if you do, I can give you £10 off. So we went over to a shelf and we bought jars of organic pulses. So we got chickpeas, butter beans and cannellini beans in water, no salt and organic. They were £1.79 a jar. So it bought it to £50 and 37p, I think. And then she took £10 off for it being over £50. So we ended up with £60 worth of collagen, £5.37's worth of beans for £40 and 37p. I was very brave this morning. I decided to try this. 12 grams is a portion. You get a scoop with it. I had it in a milky coffee, and I'll be perfectly honest, I thought if it tastes of fish, I won't like this. But it didn't. I didn't notice any difference at all once it was stirred into my coffee. If you look on the nutritional information, it says 40 calories per portion. And I was a bit like that. It says no sugar, no fat. So I'm a bit like that. But then Joe got the scanner out and he scanned it. And it is on the app. It's 2 sins per portion. Now, I know some people would say, it's a supplement. I don't sin supplements. Well, I do. If it says it's 2 sins per portion, then it's 2 sins per portion. Because I could say, I don't sin supplements. I don't sin mashed banana. I don't sin XYZ. And by the end of the day, I could be 8 sins out. And as I like to get my sins up towards maximum, I could be blowing myself out the water 4 days a week or 5 days a week. It's not worth it. So, yeah, I mean, I will drink this in my coffee. I was thinking I could stir it into my breakfast, but no, I like my breakfast. And I can just put a scoop of this in my second coffee of the day. Not my first, because my first coffee of the day is really expensive coffee pods that I love. I'm not risking spoiling that. Yeah, so let's see. Let's give it a month and see if it makes any difference. She said it's really good for your skin, it's really good for your hair, it's really good for your nails, it's really good for your joints and your
tendons and
ligaments and things. So let's see if after a month I am back at Holland and Barrett's buying some more. So if you choose not to sin things like that, I'm not criticising you. We all have a right to work this plan exactly how we want to. But if you find there are 3 or 4 things in your plan over the week, I mean, I listened to a podcast called There's No Shame in a Game. I don't think I'll be listening to it again, but the girl on that who is a slimming worlder was like, oh, I don't sin this, and I don't sin this, and I don't sin this. And I thought, I don't want to know what your weight losses are like. You do you, I'll do me. Because I know in the past, when I've counted a toasted tea cake as a wholemeal roll, when I've put stuff on my bread and thought, it's only a tablespoon, don't sin it. Then I'd go into group and I'd get a weight gain and I'd think, this is not fair, it doesn't work. Now I'm older and a little bit wiser and I can see the benefits of counting things properly. For me. But if not sinning things and enjoying different foods that some people would sin works for you, then you do you. It's all about, at the end of the day, being content in the plan we work and getting the satisfaction from the results that we get. So all in all, we've had a good week. I had a hungry day on Wednesday, but then I worked out it's because I hadn't eaten enough carbs on Tuesday. So I upped my carbs and was perfectly back to normal. Because the day after my hungry day, I went to the gym and did a good workout. Then I walked out of the gym, and as Lisa would say, I ran out of spoons.
No, that was the day of the hungry day, wasn't it?
No, it was the day after. It was the morning after.
Ah.
Because the hungry day was Tuesday and it was Wednesday. After I'd been to the gym, I had about a 15,000 step walk to do because we were going somewhere specific, and I felt like I was walking through treacle. And I said to Joe, once we got to the coffee shop, forget the rest of where we were going, I'll do it tomorrow. I haven't got the energy. So I had to come back and load up on carbs. On plan, but I had to load up on carbs. And the next morning, back to feeling great again. So I know, for the type of person I am, I cannot drop my carbs. I don't need to, I don't want to. I enjoy carbs. But that was a lesson I learned this week about how I choose to eat. Yes, I upped my protein on the hungry day, on the day before the hungry day, but it wasn't enough. Because protein might give me satiation, but it doesn't give me energy. So, all in all, a good week. Yeah. We will see you next Saturday. And can you look out, if you're interested, within the next day or two, there should be a video up about how the toy appeal went and thanking people who chose to contribute. Joe's in the middle of making that video at the moment. So whenever he's had the time to finish it, it will be up on my channel.
Have you talked about your results?
Yeah, I talked about the fact that I maintained this week.
Oh,
yeah.
good. Okay. Yeah, sorry.
Right, everybody, have a good one and we'll see you next weekend. Bye.